Hello and welcome to round 8 of Grand Prix Toronto. I'm Randy Buehler. I'm joined by Jacob Van Lunen. We are getting ready to watch number 10 ranked player in the world, Shahar Shenhar, who is 6-1 with his mono red deck against Mark Herberholz, who's been coming back to the game and putting up some nice results, and he's on blue-black control. Now these are kind of two of the poles of the format here, right?
Yeah, and we've discussed this match at length already. We've discussed how mono red has a significant advantage in the first game, but the second and third game are generally favored for the blue-black control player.
Now Mark is not Esper Dragons. He is in fact only blue-black and does not have any dragons at all in his list. So a little bit of it's kind of his take on the control deck. I mean, it sounds like it's a guy who's been playing Magic forever and playing it at a really high level. So he kind of picked the cards that he wanted to play with, and now he's got to pick the card that he thinks is going to best dismantle Shahar's start. What do you think the option should be here?
I think it really depends on Mark's hand. Like if he has like a 2-mana counterspell in his hand of some variety that can actually deal with Birthing Outburst, or if he has, you know, a Vile Blight or a Drown in Sorrow, then he might just want to take something like Zergo, but like he does. But he's going to leave him with the Dragon Fodder, even though it represents an attack for 3 on the following turn.
All right. Shahar drew, I think it was a Swift Spear actually. He's gonna basically make the play Mark scripted for him. Dragon Fodder, 2 triggers from Foundry Street Denizen, and an attack for 3.
And sometimes just because your opponent tells you what to do, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
And here that's definitely the case. Oh, so he's not just playing blue-black. He's actually playing...
Oh, I've been misled. He's Esper... Yeah. I don't think we have the deck list yet. I think those are the ones from last round.
Okay. No, we do not.
So
Mark Herberholz, such a master. Winner of Pro Tour Hawaii back in 2006. 4 Pro Tour top 8s and no Hall of Famer.
4 Pro Tour top 8s. Not a lot of other high Pro Tour finishes. Not a ton of Grand Prix finishes. But yeah, he's a guy whose name has been coming up in the Hall of Fame conversation the last couple of years, but hasn't come particularly close. Goblin Rabblemaster, Shahar's turn 3 play. Adding a Goblin to the board, that's 2 triggers for Foundry Street Denizen. And yeah, Mark just has to scoop him up. His draw was not prepared to deal with that mono red onslaught. Shahar won the roll. He came out 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and without any kind of sweeper, there wasn't anything Mark could do about it. Yeah, I'm curious to see the deck list to see, did he have any kind of sweeper that he was actually drawing to, or he may just have a version of the deck which is bad in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be pretty common because a lot of the Esper control players, a lot of the control players in general in this format have essentially conceded the red matchup for game 1. When I was talking to Calcano about it, that was the case. When I talked to Seth Manfield, he was saying that he was giving up a lot against the red deck in game 1 because it's so bad anyway that you might as well just hedge for games 2 and 3 and make your matchups better against other things for game 1.
Sure, so he's got 8 Crux, 3 Bile Blights. Yeah, he's only got 1 Vault, 1 Foul Tongue.
All right, so we're jumping to another match here.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting matchup too. More mono red decks. Matt Costa on the right of your screen. I believe he and Shahar may be on the same list. Certainly all the Pantheon guys have been hanging out, and a lot of them are on this list. John Stern, meanwhile, Canadian, trying to defend the home turf, I guess. Banned Megamorph.
Stern, also a Grand Prix champion?
Absolutely.
This is an interesting attack here. I guess life totals change things a bit. So that Foundry Street Denizen represents a lot more damage. So John going to have to make the decision, does he want to maintain the Raptor and just block Zergo? I think that's going to be the call. And the thing about that is that telegraphs that Matt probably has another copy of Zergo in his hand. We have to remember that even though it's a 1-drop, it is legendary.
Sure. I mean, I don't know that it does telegraph that. It also could be that telegraphing, in fact, Matt just wanted to force through damage.
Yeah, I guess it could.
Right, if you attack with just
spells, right?
if you attack with just Foundry Street Denizen on that board, it clearly trades with Raptor.
Absolutely.
Magic players, we're about to fire Modern Winterbox number 13. Modern Winterbox 13 is about to start.
Well, with that attack, I mean, I cannot fault John Stern for making the block that he did.
No, I think he did it right. He only takes
correct.
he takes 2 extra damage, but he's up a Deathmist Raptor.
Yeah,
I
and
think
which
that's
represents
just-
more life in the following turn anyway.
Exactly.
If you're not actively engaged in a task, please report to the speaker behind the main event stage.
Yeah, Costa and Shahar are on think card for card mirrors. Yeah, I've gotten that confirmed. This is also the deck we saw Owen Turtenwald on earlier. Haven't heard much from Owen. I know he lost round 4. I'm not sure how he's been doing. John Stern elects for Elvish Mystic and a Morph, so 3 potential blockers available for this turn. I thought Mono Red might be decently well positioned for this tournament. When we saw Owen, he actually lost the Esper Dragons matchup. Certainly Shahar, who we've seen winning a couple of times on camera now. Although I guess we gotta see, give Herberholz the sideboarding games before we declare anything in that match.
Yeah, and I mean, the deck has been performing reasonably well. I didn't see any of it over in the XO area, but when you start walking into the X1 rows, there's a lot of mono red.
Okay. Owen is X2. So
Fighting for his life here.
pretty much. Swift Spear from Costa. And a Fire Drinker Satyr, so that'll trigger Foundry Street Denizen up to 3 power. Now, clearly the 3 power Denizen can attack.
But
Although
it's
it's
likely
just,
to
yeah,
trade
it's just
with
going to get
Mystic.
traded with Mystic. Well, what Matt needs to do here is Wild Slash the Mystic. Or the Morph. Would Prowess trigger the Swift Spear? I don't know what he's got left, though.
Yeah, he may just be forced to pass, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he would make those plays anyway. I mean, if he knew he was going to make all those plays, he can then decide how he wants to attack. All right, all the Goblins and the Swift Spear and the Denizen. Often the correct play in the Mono Red deck. Just turn them all sideways. Force your opponent to block. Get through some damage.
And these seem like the expected blocks to come
Right,
from John
yeah.
Stern here.
Stern is going to try to trade Mystic for Denizen. Raptor wants to eat Swift Spear, and Morph wants to pick off a Goblin token.
It always feels very good to block a Swift Spear with a Raptor, because oftentimes when you block a Swift Spear, you have no idea what's going to happen. It's a pretty precarious situation, but when you block it with a Raptor, you know that even if your opponent casts a flurry of spells, that you're at least going to trade. And it's kind of a nice insurance policy.
All right, kind of looks like Matt Costa's run out of steam here. We'll certainly let you know how this turns out, but I want to get back to the main match.
Sounds good.
Let's see how Shahar and Mark Herberholz are doing after sideboarding. Yeah, Shahar's coming out pretty fast. That looks like turn 1 Denizen into turn 2 Swift Spear plus Fire Drinker Satyr. So 4 damage, face up Stratus Dancer for Mark Herberholz. And a tap land. I mean, do what you got to do. Mark's sideboard, it's not spectacular in this matchup. It's 2 Drown in Sorrow. It's 2 Nixley's Ram is maybe the most exciting card he's got going on. You know, a Bile Blight to get him up to 4. Stratus Dancers, obviously, he's decided just having creatures to block with is worth bringing in. So, I mean, he certainly improved his deck more than Shahar did.
Will it be enough, though?
Yeah. I mean, this is a great start for Shahar. Especially the fact that Mark's playing a Stratus Dancer, I think, is maybe signaling, hey, I don't have Drown in Sorrow.
I think
Lightning
that
strike
the
your
block on
face.
Swift Spear may actually mean that he does have the Drown in Sorrow, right? Because it forces
He's baiting
Shahar
out the
to
instant.
tap out, and then he gets to cast the Drown.
Yeah, I mean, Shahar went pre-combat Fire Drinker to trigger Foundry Street Denizen. And then, yeah, saved his Swift Spear in combat. He was all in on you not having Drown.
Yeah.
Crunch. That is a 4-for-1 Drown in Sorrow for Mark Herberholz.
Yeah, and very well played on his part.
I agree.
You know, setting that up in that order, you know, when he
Right.
plays the Stratus Dancer, it makes Shahar think, oh, well, he probably doesn't have this. And,
I agree. Now, in fact, Mark had a comes into play tapped land. So, I mean, he may have had it and not had a land that come into play untapped. He may have just felt like, well, let's see how much more value I can get out of this. Downfall on the Eidolon. And an Ixfleece Ram, and Shahar's out of gas. Shahar's Hellbent. He's drawing off the top at this point. Well, it's not nothing.
Yeah.
6 through for 1 to offset the life gain at least.
And Mark gonna just sit here and pass the turn. Happy to just be at parity with each attack here.
Oh,
Ooh.
that is no longer parity.
Yeah. Now that's going to make 4 tokens, I believe.
Secure the Waste makes 4 1/1 tokens. That is exactly right. He's going to double block, is I think what he lined up.
Yep.
Makes sense. I mean, he kills both creatures unless Shahar drew an instant this turn. I might. Yeah, there's only 4, right? Yeah. He would have doubled. He would have gone double triple with.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's a great
really
lightning
good
strike.
lightning strike.
It effectively undoes the entire Secure the Waste. It saves Zergo, and the Prowess trigger saves the Swift Spear.
Your event will be into fire. Everyone
So Mark at 8 now, but
Oh,
Mini Masters number
it's pretty
9.
good.
there she is.
And that makes things a little harder for Shar. Yeah, he's just going to pack it in.
Yeah. Let's just go play game 3. Yeah, 8 life and a Nyxlis Ram. Shahar's not. There's no way.
He's going to have to battle that tick up.
All right, sideboard card's looking pretty good for Mark Herberholz. That's how you said. You just punt the matchup in game 1, hope you can win the sideboarded games.
Now, only 2 copies of Drown, though. That's dangerous.
Only 2 copies of Drown. Yeah, it's interesting. He's got. I mean, this is Mark's take on Esper Control. This is not one of the lists that I've seen floating around, and it's kind of like
It's very different than anything I've seen, too.
it's got no dragons. It's not the Esper Dragons list. Oh wow, are we still in game 1 here? No, Costa got that first game.
Interesting. He must have, maybe drawn a burn spell or 2 in a row.
Again, players in the
Wow.
2 p.m. Two-Headed Giant Seal. Last round, Perry's round, please find your seats.
All right. Now, this Mastery threatens to gain John quite a bit of life, actually.
Yeah, well, we thought John had turned the corner in the first game too, and somehow Matt's the one who's got the game win. Titan Strength on the unblocked Goblin, threatening to put John down to 2. John does not have enough untapped mana to flip many things.
Yeah, I mean, he could flip, like, a Mystic or...
3 goblins die. Looks like Costa has to pass the turn. So yeah, he got in a chunk of damage, got in a scry. Seems like he needs John Stern to miss creatures with that Master of the Unseen. Although it's a morph and a manifest, so.
And the morph...
The morph can definitely be turned face up.
Yeah, and then it's going to be a nice little chunk of life here for John.
Oh wow, so can the manifest. Courser of Krufix.
Yeah, John going to jump immediately up to 5 here. And if he hits a land drop, he's back at 6. And then I'd like to believe he's out of the woods.
You guys didn't really give us enough room to
White Seas Library, okay. Den Protector on top of this library.
And that's not a bad one to get with your
it would be a lot.
manifest.
It would be a lot better if he had a land.
Yes.
As it is,
If it
he's
was
gonna-
land into Den Protector, that would be relatively absurd.
Right. As it is, he'll be drawing it next turn, although presumably he can flip his morph. Okay, draws the Den Protector. Whisperwood. Still no land for the Courser, but quality creatures, that's for sure.
And the Den Protector, when it flips up, again, going to gain him this time 4 life.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and do that now. What does he get back? Can't see his graveyard. It's gonna gain 4 life. No idea what that card was.
At this point, it seems like he's got it
I'm
locked
guessing
up.
it was the fetch land. That's what I was thinking. He's got a fetch land. It's actually pretty good here. Gets to build up his mana base. Probably doesn't want to shuffle away Whisperwood, but that's the option.
It's definitely possible that his graveyard doesn't really have much else in the way of options, right? Because, I mean, he's
What was
probably
gonna die,
returned to Deathmist Raptor and maybe had, like, some manifests go to the graveyard that were lands.
Well, John Stern on the attack now, trying to send this to a game 3. Yeah, up to 10 life now. It's hard to imagine Costa wins this one. Even harder than imagining Costa winning the one we walked away from.
Yes, significantly. Mastery is very good at shoring up the end game in this matchup.
Definitely. Godstart is going to shuffle away the Whisperwood Elemental.
Players that want to get honored with standings for your prizes are headed over to the Chandra banner.
So John gets to stay at 10 there. Cursor Perfect.
Pays a life, but gets it back.
Nice interaction with fetch lands for more than one reason.
But he did downgrade his draw phase.
Yeah. But
all right, let's go back to the other match. I'm going to once again claim that John Stern has this.
yeah.
We'll keep you updated, of course. I predict we'll get back for Game 3. Shahar, meanwhile, leads with Firedrinker Satyr on the play here in Game 3. Satyr into Eidolon. Pretty good start.
Not bad at all.
Mark's playing tap lands, but keeps on top.
Which likely means that he has the untapped land on top, which could turn on something like Drown in Sorrow. Shahar this time playing around that line.
Yeah, pumps his Firedrinker Satyr. Happy to deal the damage to both players. Drown in Sorrow is a 2-for-1, plus a couple damage from the Eidolon.
Yeah, Mark, gonna need to put this on bottom unless it's
For
another
the
land.
Giant Seal number 3, please report to the Chandra pairing board. Once again, 14 Q-headed Giant Seal, please report to the Chandra pairing board.
Dragon fodder. Shahar gonna give anything else to the board?
It looks like he has.
Oh, he's gonna go take the opportunity for Stoke. Drop you to 7. Temple for Mark Herberholz, which I believe is his only land in his hand. Interesting. If I'm not mistaken, he's got Bile Blight and Nyx Fleece Ram.
Yeah, so he's got choices here.
Yeah.
It looks like he has a duress also, so he's going to get to take.
Oh,
a
if he
peek.
can duress into Nyx Fleece, that sounds great.
Yeah, this seems very, very strong.
That is a duress.
Yeah, and then he gets to take the lightning strike also, and then he
Yes,
has Bile
sir.
Blight for the cleanup.
Yes, sir. Shahar has to commit to the board. There's a Nyx Fleece Ram over there.
Yeah, he can't
He's got
just.
no choice but to play his last card, which is going to make 2 more Goblin tokens. Draws a mountain off the top of Shahar Shenhar. And block 1, take 1. Here's 2 Goblins. Wow, this Bile Blight. Assuming I saw it correctly, but I'm pretty sure I saw Bile Blight.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that I saw it also. So, looks like Mark firmly in the driver's seat here. Certainly possible for him to lose from this spot, but pretty unlikely, especially with that dissolve
This is
in his
a,
hand. You know,
a
and
pretty
Nyx Fleece
interesting
Ram.
take on Esper Control if you look at it. Like, it's got a little bit from the Cuneo school. He's got 2 Elspeths. He's got to secure the waste in his main deck. It's only really Andrew I've seen with that version of it, sort of the blue-white Pantheon version of the build. But Andrew doesn't want black mana. He doesn't want to mess up his mana. Mark has gone into his 3rd color for fully 4 copies of Thoughtseize and Bile Blights. I guess Mark's just being greedy with his mana. But yeah,
I mean,
he's got Elspeth and Bile
Those black
Blight,
cards
and
have been pretty instrumental here.
I mean,
Victory.
Elspeth,
Yeah.
Bile Blight, Nullify. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Hope you draw your mana. Yeah, this is just the greedy version of the Esper deck. It's no dragons, so you don't get to play Silumgar Scorn. You don't get to play the dragon finishers, but it's like last year's Esper deck, just without Sphinx's Revelation.
He's playing Radiant Purge also. Kind of exciting.
That is kind of exciting. And dig through time. Right, it's you don't have Sphinx's Revelation, but you do have dig through time, of course.
Pretty good at this point.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, Shahar completely out of gas here. Mark taking up his life total.
Yeah, Nyx Fleece Ram doing good work. Yvonne Flockspec. The bleat down.
Let's see. Yeah,
Mark's
this
got a
is
dissolve.
he has a secure the waste to go with a pair of dissolves. Seems pretty good.
Yes, it does. Yeah, up to 10 life too, where He doesn't have to worry about tapping out end step. He doesn't have to leave his dissolves up for burn spells because with 4 mana, there's no way to deal 10 damage, right?
No.
You just crack fetch land for Secure the Waste. No, he's going to wait.
Yeah. The ever-patient Mark, wants to draw those lands, obviously. Doesn't want to thin them out of his deck. Each one of them represents a 1/1.
Man, Mark lost a win and in for top 8 at a recent Grand Prix. I know he really wanted the Pro Tour invite. He's been trying to get back on. And it seems like he's playing Magic pretty well these days.
Has there ever been a point where he hasn't been playing Magic well?
Well, there was a point where he wasn't playing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I mean, his prime is, I think, long enough ago that a lot of the current, the
don't
more
know
recent
who he
generation may not have seen him play that much. But yeah, when he shows up to play, he's been very good. I'm also old enough that I vaguely remember when he was like the guy that went to PTQs with Pat Chapin.
Yeah.
So like, he very quickly went from like the random young guy at PTQs to, oh wow, the guy at Pro Tours.
Yeah, he was just a kid who drove around with Chapin originally.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a nice way to soak up some knowledge.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, Secure the Waste. Lost the tokens in those trades, but now Shahar's down to nothing. Portaling Outburst is going to get dissolved.
in the mid-2000s, I think Mark was really considered the best player there was in the world for a little while.
Yeah, and he's a builder too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's definitely wearing a Milwaukee Brewers cap to make a statement. He likes to do his own brewing, for sure. Another Outburst gets dissolved.
He's also tremendously good at limited.
Oh yeah. No, dude can play, for sure. No, look, the Hall of Fame case is there. There are people who actively believe Mark Herberholz belongs in the Hall of Fame. And he's, the people who aren't voting for him feel like, well, he's close.
Yeah.
There's nobody who will tell you he's not at least in the conversation. Like you said, 4 Pro Tour top 8s, including a win. He gets extra points from a lot of people, myself included, for being the deck builder, not just the deck pilot.
Yeah, and a lot of unique decks that he's winning these tournaments with, and unique draft strategies.
Yeah, the Hawaii that he won, there's Shahar scooping him up, extends the hand. Mark Herberholz is now 7-1 through to day 2 at this Grand Prix, trying to make that run, trying to get back on the Pro Tour.
And this isn't a guy who's like fighting with a lot of buys either. Like, he might have 2 now grinding out. I think he just has 1, because at the Grand Prix where we saw him just a few weeks ago, where he missed this win for top 8, he was playing with 0 buys.
Right.
Pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, game 3 between John Stern and Matt Costa. Looks like Denizen into Dragon Fodder into Roast for Matt Costa. But there's still an Elf, a Caryatid, and a Morph for John Stern. 2 creatures to trigger the Denizen, which is going to attack at 3 power.
This is interesting because, in a lot of ways, John kind of wants to do nothing. If you're especially if he has Mastery in his hand, but it's pretty hard to not take this trade, right?
Yeah, no, I think he took this trade. I think that Matt knew that John would prefer to do nothing. He had to get the Denizen up to 3 power so that Caryatid couldn't just bounce it. Now John is like, all right, fine, I'll trade you a creature for it. It's just, do you want to trade the Elf or do you want to trade the Morph? Elf is the decision. And flip Den Protector? Flip Stratus Dancer. Interesting.
Ooh.
Which gets back Deathmist Raptor. Okay, that was the creature that got roasted, I guess. No counterspell, no flash counter for the Stratus Dancer. But while John had the mana, he wanted to get the Deathmist Raptor back into play. Totally makes sense.
And that's a lot of value there.
Yeah,
for
all
John.
of a sudden,
That's
it's like there's like 6 power worth of attackers.
Swing. Yeah. And he can block as aggressively as he wants to this Deathmist Raptor because his Megamorph deck is well designed.
Yeah, full of ways to get it back. Yeah, having to roast the
that kind of
Deathmist
play.
Raptor. I don't know if it was face up or face down. I presume it was face up. and that Matt knew what he was getting into and just had no choice. I guess the only thing worse than roasting a Deathmist Raptor is attacking into it.
Yeah. Deathmist Raptor's good against these red decks.
Yeah. Yeah, 3-3 for 3 is solid. Death Touch prevents any shenanigans. Not super relevant here, but yeah. Recurring 3-3s is not what the little red deck wants to run into.
John Stern really made a push about 2 years ago to get onto the Pro Tour, and since then has been a staple.
Yep.
Really came along with Alexander Hayne. They kind of brought the Canadian Magic scene from obscurity to something to be truly feared. Wingmate Rock. Now, if Matt Costa can't close this game almost immediately, then that card
John's
could
at
very
13.
easily
How's he
take
going to
it
close
over.
the game immediately?
Well, that's kind of the point. So, pair of 3/4s there for John. Also going to start gaining life when he's attacking. And Matt's just going to scoop him up because
John Stern clinches day 2. 7-1. He's looking to be in pretty good shape to make a deep run. Matt Costin now back against the wall if he wants to keep playing. There's a number of players that they're back against the wall right now. Owen Turtenwald needs to win out. This is coming into this round, people who needed to go win-win. So these are, I guess,
a lot of these red decks.
5-2 players.
Losing.
Owen Turtenwald, Ari Lax, Sean McLaren, Chris Fennell, Steve Rubin, Frank Scarron, Tom Martell, Josh Utter-Layton, William Jensen. It's a murderer's row in the
big
5-2 bracket.
Yes, absolutely.
And they have a lot of bloody bubble matches this last round at 6-2. It's a big GP, by the way. 1,600 players.
Yeah, for a standard Grand Prix in Canada.
Yeah, it is the biggest Grand Prix in Toronto. Not quite the biggest Grand Prix in Canada. It was Montreal was a little bit bigger. It's definitely a big one. I was at the first Grand Prix Toronto. Do you know how many players were at the very first Grand Prix Toronto?
In the dark, I'm going to say 150.
167.
Oh, that was close.
That was pretty good in the dark guess. It was the second ever North American Grand Prix. I believe the third Grand Prix in history. It's like DC. It went like DC and then somewhere like Amsterdam, Antwerp, Brussels, somewhere in a Benelux country, and then Toronto. 1997, I guess, when the Grand Prix circuit started. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to figure out how many people were actually at the first Grand Prix Toronto and then also here. Can't be that many.
10.
Can't be that many. Well, yeah, number of players is it was an order of magnitude more players, but how many people were at both?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, one.
Well, I'm in attendance, sure, and in attendance you also get Gary Wise, who's doing like VIP Q&A stuff. He's been brought in as the only Canadian Hall of Famer.
And I saw him eating lunch before when I was coming to the booth.
Okay, you got two that are in attendance. I honestly, I don't yet know of anyone who's played both.
Just played in both.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody, but
There's
somebody
gotta
who's
be
playing
someone.
here and played in '97. I mean, '97's winner could have come was Brian Kibler that won in 1997. Small child, high school, I don't know, sophomore or something. Brian Kibler.
I remember reading
Snuck
an
away
article
from
about
campus.
that. Yeah.
He's written a few over the years.
It's
Definitely
a
a
fun
proud
story.
day for Brian. I don't know if this was the specific tournament he snuck away from school from and got in trouble for, but might have been.
He got a note from his mom and everything. Come on.
Will be cut off around 8:30 p.m. If you would like to sign up for one of the limited spots for tomorrow's Super Sunday Series Sealed or Super
Yep,
Sunday
game 3.
Series Standard,
Winner clinches day 2.
which
Loser
doesn't
has to win
fall
next round if they want to keep playing.
Play mats.
This is an interesting
We're
matchup, too.
selling
I mean,
selling those
really kind of a
spots starting
slugfest.
tonight in just a few minutes.
Sure.
There's so
There's
much
256
interaction
spots
going on
each.
here. It's going to be really fun to watch.
Guaranteed play mat for both of those, up to that amount. Again, that's the Super Sunday Series events. You can sign up tonight in just a few minutes. Thank you.
This is recording.
Like Sears been interesting around here.
Fleecemane Lion is the turn 2 play. Taking damage from a line of war wastes. And set up for turn 3 Anafenza. Or Obzon Charm.
Neil Oliver lucky he has that elf, especially because he's on the draw. You need to break serve in those situations.
Definitely. Mana Confluence is going to deal him some pain. Goes for face up Death Raptor.
Death Raptor is a really good one to get down like right away because you want to start churning out that advantage.
Now, if you're Sigrist, what do? You play Anafenza, planning to attack with Fleecemane as a 4/4 next turn? I mean, it doesn't really matter against a Death Toucher. You just go ahead and get the trade over with? Or you try to go wide and not have to kill Death Raptor?
Yeah, I think that you are trying to go wide here. I don't think you want to be trading with Death Raptor early, and I don't think that Neil can be attacking you with Death Raptor if you're not. Ooh, okay.
Andrew Chamberlain, your
I would not have made the attack.
number 20 is
Just save this for the future.
over at the Chandra Repairing Board.
I guess leaving it alive risks.
Your standard mana box.
He's a really good Dromoka's Command fighter. I don't know. Sigrist figures, I've got a 4/4. You've got very little. If I can just play big creatures fast enough, Neil will never have time to flip over anymore. Oh, Anafenza. That's what's going on. Anafenza removes Death Raptor from the game.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. I forgot the additional text on that. I forgot it's not just a 4/4 for 3 mana that also pumps other guys.
Well, it's dead now. Valorous Stance takes care of it. But yeah, Anafenza before the attack means the Death Raptor trade. It was really Neil who had the decision to make. Did he want to take the trade?
Yeah, and I'm actually
or did he
surprised
want to
Neil
take
made
the
the
3
block
damage?
there then.
wonder
Especially
if-
considering he has Valorant stance.
Yeah, maybe that was off the top.
And perhaps he even kind of forgot additional text on Anafenza.
He put it straight to the exile zone.
That's reasonable.
Self-inflicted wound.
Very good Molten Rain there.
Somehow it's bolt you and your elf.
Yep.
Neil missed his land drop too.
Yeah, I mean he's
Mana
now,
Confluence chipping away.
that deck is super mana hungry too.
Yeah.
It's one of the nice things about the Bant Magmorph deck is that when it doesn't have that much mana, it can still do a lot, and when it has a lot of mana, it starts to do really absurd things.
Fair. Well,
Very
Elvis-
Craig Wesco-y type of thing to do.
there's Mike Sigrist.
The Canada v Canada matchup.
Three mana. Obzon Charm. Exile your Fleecemane. Warden of the First Tree can get his attack on. Neil, not even interested in hoping to trade, especially when Mike can just. Mike was like, all right, I'll give you the chance to trade, but then if you're not going to make me spend my mana on Warden of the First Tree, I'll spend it on another self-inflicted wound. Those elves.
And Neil with a lot of cards straining at his hand here. That triple elf draw
Yeah.
lost 2 of them to self-inflicted wounds.
And yeah, you can see how the mana advantage. Mike is hellbent. Has deployed all of his cards. Neil still with a grip of, I think, 4. Now one of which he now plays as a morph. Now Warden can just attack in as a 3/3, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing you have to be afraid of here.
I mean, if it was a land, you might play it and try to pump twice, but I think Sigrist probably drew a spell.
It's a difficult situation for Neil because, he'd be... I'm not sure if he'd be happy with, Mike drawing the land, but he's certainly not happy with Mike drawing spells.
All right, can Neil stabilize?
It's not going to be easy.
No, he's at 7. Warden is a 3/3. But he's got one more face down. He's up to 4 mana now.
Yeah, interesting that he's passing the turn here. So, I mean, do we think that this is a Den Protector then?
That'd be my guess.
I guess it could be a Stratus Dancer.
Yeah, that is the other thing that it could be. That's less likely given that I'm pretty sure there's one in Neil's hand. So the spell that Mike drew last turn was an Obzon Charm. He's going to use it to try to draw 2 end step. Siege Rhino was one of them.
That's not bad when your opponent
Yeah,
says
don't really
7
care
and
what the other one was. I think that's a
leaning
good
on a
draw
mana
for,
confluence.
for Mike.
So I just got a message here from Mark Calderero that James Ray is 8-0 here in the 1600 person tournament with Naya Heroic.
Naya Heroic?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't even know what it would look like.
Well, I mean, you're green and white, so you get to get the Dramarcus Command Heroic combo, which is really nice. I guess you're just red-white Heroic with Dramarcus Command is probably right. Just so many of the Heroic decks have been blue-white lately, but there have been red-whites historically.
Please meet on the Challenger banner. Once again, the players are Modern Winnemuck, number 14.
Cool.
Please
Naya
get
Heroic.
Exciting. Be interested to see what's in it.
He's 8-0. We may get him. If we get him this round, maybe get him tomorrow first thing.
I wouldn't mind watching that deck.
Wow, we may have some really sweet bubble matches to watch.
Oh, of course. I mean, with these, with this stable of X2s, it's going to be pretty hard to find room.
1,600 people. Maybe they all dodge each other. See what happens. All right. Mike Sigrist, trying to deal the last 7. Anafenza is the play, and his 3/3 Warden of the First Tree does not seem particularly interested in attacking into a Den Protector. At least that's what Mike thinks it is, and what we think it is. Only Neil knows for sure. Yeah, just chips the turn. Now, what do you do with your Den Protector? Is Valorous Stance in Neil's hand too?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to basically have to Valorous Stance the Anafenza here. I
Ladies
feel
and
like.
gentlemen, those Sunday
He can
Super
also
Series
Den
events,
Protector.
you can win an exclusive trip to
So,
listen to
yeah,
those
Den Protector for
hours.
Valorous Stance. And
Our
crack fetch land, tap mana confluence. Painful, but do what you gotta do.
Yeah, going to fall to 5 here, but
Sealed at 9 a.m.
There's not a ton of reach in the Obzon aggro deck, right? It's basically just the Siege Rhinos.
Cost $30.
Yeah.
Promo card.
I mean, he's opening up a loss to double Siege Rhino, but his opponent only has 1 card in his hand, so it's not an unreasonable thing to do.
If you'd like to register tonight, save yourself the headaches tomorrow. You need to do so tonight.
Down goes Anafenza.
We are taking sign-ups for the rest of the pickup events, pickup sign events, until 8:30 p.m.
I mean, Mike does have the 6 mana to hypothetically ultimate the Warden. We'll have to find a
it's going
window.
to take him a
It's
couple
all-
turns to do so, though.
All right, it's basically 2 turns of mana, and the first turn doesn't really do a whole lot. It just creates lifelink. Wow. Den Protector attacks.
Pretty bold attack here. Going to 4, playing that Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Wow. Siege Rhino can drop Neil Oliver to 1. But then he looks like he's going to get to untap with Ojutai. Yeah, there's the Siege Rhino.
It's a precarious situation, but
Oh, and a Fleece Mane. Wow. Pretty good use of 6 mana. Oof, Glare of Heresy.
yeah, Valor Stance and Glare of Heresy here. But again, these incidental Stone Rain effects happening to Neil Oliver. All those self-inflicted wounds on elves. Now he's at 1 and he has a mana confluence and Yavimaya Coast in play. Yavimaya Coast obviously can be tapped for colorless, but cuts him off of blue mana here. And cuts him off the second white. Pretty important.
So what's the line for Neil Oliver?
I feel like if I'm Neil Oliver, I definitely want to just glare away the Rhino right now.
Okay. Not stance away the Rhino.
You might just have to kill the. Actually, you might just have to trade the Rhino with your Ojutai, and then just glare away the Fleecemane.
Fleeceman's going to go monstrous if you don't kill it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or at least it can. Well, he
he's
decides to
going
attack.
Yeah.
Is this a fish for a pain-free white source?
I can appreciate that.
Elspeth and 2 Yavimaya Coasts? Elspeth and 2 Yavimaya Coasts.
Definitely not what he was hoping for.
Took a Yavimaya Coast. Wow. Goes
Can survive.
face down. Okay. Well, finding any land does on that turn on this play. Face down Stratus Dancer and leaving up stance or glare. Interesting. So now, can he force Mike to go monstrous and respond? And no, you can't respond with glare. It's only 3 toughness. Yeah, Mike just turns him sideways. I like this line.
I like it a lot, and I think
He got
Mike,
there very quickly.
the-
Turn him sideways, fold your arms, let your opponent do the thinking.
I
The
think
classic
he
aggro stance.
drew Abzan Charm also.
Oh, did he?
so
Oh, that's
especially
nuts.
dangerous.
So that was the super quick, oh, I drew a good card, but I don't want to telegraph that I drew a good card. I'm just going to turn him.
Then again, Absent Charm might not even be the best draw step here. I mean,
But what? So the Morph and the Den Protector block Warden?
yep.
So, yeah, my first Mike's like, all right, well, show me what you're doing with my Siege Rhino. Okay, fine. You have a Valor stance, and now you're tapped out. And yeah, at this point, Mike's, I think, okay with that, right? He gets the Morph and the Elf. He Abzan Charms away the Ojutai. So now it's 3-2 Den Protector against Fleecemane. But Neil has the glare.
Yeah. Neil pulling this out.
At 1 point of life, can't tap his Mana Confluence, can't get blue mana. Oh, Rakshasa Death Dealer!
Such a good one.
You predicted a slugfest. You were correct, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Den Protector on chump block turn mode now, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
This morning, that would be the Grand Prix.
Yeah, chips the
Just the
turn.
Grand Prix.
Pushed from the scry.
Event. You can pick your points up at the side event area or by the Chandra.
Plays his land. Don't need to hiding it. You might need that mana to pump
Those
the
points may be
Death
available
Dealer.
as soon as we have all
Den
results.
Protector chump blocks. Ooh, Death Miss Raptor was the draw.
Can he play it and flip it? No, he cannot without dying.
Mini Masters number 10, please report to the Chandra board. Once again, Mini Masters 10, please report to the Chandra board.
All right, Death Miss Raptor has the ability to either get bigger or regenerate. You can regenerate from Death Touch. So Death Dealer's a problem.
Yeah, it's going to cause some big issues here for Neil. I mean, I think Mike just drew another removal spell, which means the game's
Really?
probably just over.
Ranku bearings for the Saturday Two Dragon playmat.
Yeah, he
He
might not go
doesn't
for
know
it.
exactly what that morph is. Oh, okay, he's just going to downfall it. It could have been, yeah, and that'll do. Mike Sigris punches a hole through. Neil Oliver fought the good fight. He
Very much
came
so.
close
He did.
to pulling that together, but yeah, Mike drew Death Dealer off the top.
For all those mana issues that he had. And again, I think that that aggressive trade early on with that Death Miss Raptor